say this with full love for men, but the reality is that men are draining by default.
They call me selfish. I'm the queen of selfish. I love it. I love being selfish. I love putting myself first. I love taking care of me. So what? Hey, beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here, and welcome to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So today's video, we want to talk about how men are draining to women by default. A lot of the time, we've come here to talk about the dynamic relationship between men and women, and a lot of time, we've talked about how a lot of men are with women because of the label we provide, one way or the other, because of the value we provide in their life. And we've seen, even in our real life, in our day-to-day life, we've seen awesome women in our life, our mothers, our aunties, our sisters, being physically, mentally, spiritually, financially drained because they are with a man. And sometimes even some of us ourselves, we look at ourselves and like, what would my life be if I was alone and this man was not in my life? So in this video, we're going to hear a couple of women share their story, and even some men talk about it, how they are not, they need us women, and how things are going to switch up. Because there's a video of this lady that was literally, she's sick, but she's out there still cleaning for the house because her husband, her partner, will not help her because she is considered as the as a domestic person to do domestic chores. And I really want us to have this conversation because a lot of women really think this thing that they are the ones that are supposed to take care of all the domestic work, even though it's a lot of work. Like, it's not easy, like, cooking, cleaning, and doing all that. But by default, they've made a lot of us women to feel like that is our responsibility. We have to do so, even when we are sick, even when we're tired, even when we don't want to physically, we cannot afford to, we still push ourselves to go on and do things like that. So we're going to check out people just talking about how draining it is to be in a relationship with a man, and then I'll come back and share more of my thought. But let me know what you think about this video down in the comment section.
Machista boyfriend doesn't help me clean, and I've been sick for the past couple of days. This is how my bathroom looks right now. And unfortunately, when you have a machista boyfriend, you have to be the one who cleans all the time. As a traditional wife and stay-at-home mom, this is my role. No one picks up my slack. I have to clean and I have to cook, even if I'm sick. I did go to the emergency room 2 days in a row, and I've been feeling better, so I decided to pick up my bathroom. And no, I am not ashamed, because sometimes my bathroom does get like this or worse. It's only one of me, and it's 3 of my kids and 1 husband. It is literally 4 versus 1. I am not an octopus. I cannot do a million things at the same time. And it doesn't matter how many hours my husband works, I still have to pick up the messes in the house, even if I'm sick. This is the reality of dating Mexican or Hispanic men. They have very high expectations of you as a wife, but I'd rather be at home and be cleaning, even though if I'm sick, rather than to be working out in the sun, getting dehydrated, drinking a couple modelos. Fortunately, I have been feeling better, so we'll see how the next week goes.
Are you kidding me? I removed the sound because of copyright. I hate this. Wow. When I have the time, my goal is to this semester to make since this is my last semester before ranking, I need to do my very best to shine. Just even going to school, in the midst of all this, I am trying to find affordable housing. Rent prices here are out of control. Wow. I can't find anything big enough for me and my kids for under 2,000, but my kids are being put in the middle of a seamless and let back and front. Wow. If we won't live for their sake, then we will find our own place. I just want this to be over with so we can move forward. For now, I'm waiting for the piece to fall into place. Wow. If anyone is willing to help us with moving expenses, well, put my Venmo and Cash App in my bio. Wow. Wow. Women are going through it, guys.
I feel like a lot more younger women than men are being responsible. Girls who are going to university, girls that are pursuing businesses, and a lot of our young boys are just kind of fucking off. So I feel like there might be a power switch because the women are like
There already is.
taking it. The women are taking life serious, bro.
There already is. But that's what happens to any group of people that are not allowed.
Like marginalized and
Marginalized for a while.
Yeah.
Once they get their get back, it's a wrap.
Honestly, to be honest, I think right now, if I compare the men of today and the men in our grandfathers or father's age, I think we're lacking right now in a lot of ways. Responsible. We're not as responsible. We're not as like just diligent on how we move. We don't care about the family structure as much. Yeah. I just think right now as men, I think we're a little lost.
We're lost.
We're lost.
I think
I was
that's
literally
an
about
accurate
to say
description.
that.
I think that's like a general consensus of where men are at in the world.
Also, too, I think the difference between now and back then, I don't think this is the men part. We're not taking as much pride in our last name.
I was in a relationship with my narcissistic, abusive ex. I felt like I was constantly exhausted. And it's not a coincidence because being with someone like that doesn't just drain your emotions, it drains your body too. And they create this cycle of almost chronic fatigue that keeps you stuck. So there's the emotional chaos, the constant arguments, the gaslighting, the manipulation. It takes a toll on your nervous system.
True.
It almost puts your fight or flight response in overdrive, which of course is going to leave you mentally and physically worn out. And then there's the sleep deprivation. They love picking fights at night, waking you up with demands, keeping you anxious with unpredictable behavior, and you don't get the rest that you need. The exhaustion clouds your judgment, and it makes it a lot harder for you to see the relationship for what it is, which leads to this mental overload. They force you into a state of constant overthinking, analyzing their behavior, walking on eggshells, trying to figure out how to keep the peace. And this nonstop mental strain feels like carrying a massive invisible weight. And why does this all matter? Because when you're too tired to think clearly or take action, it's harder to leave. And that's exactly what they want, to keep you feeling stuck, powerless, dependent on them. You're not lazy. It's not all in your head. If you're feeling constantly fatigued, it might be your body's way of telling you that something is wrong. Try to take small steps to prioritize your rest as much as you possibly can and rebuild your energy, because you deserve to live fully, not just survive.
Don't allow anyone to make you feel as though you have to stay in a relationship that is just not serving you anymore, right? Now listen, everything isn't going to be sunshine and roses. However, if you feel more drained, more stressed, more like you got to walk on eggshells than you don't, that is when you have to reevaluate. Don't do that thing where you're like, well, we made a committed relationship to get married. Yes, you sure did, but not on the level to where you're so miserable and you're so checked out. It's okay. It's not a prison sentence. All right. So get out of your head that suddenly you're stuck with this for the rest of your life. You are not. So get out of your head that. Let's say it isn't marriage. Let's say it's a friendship. Let's say it's a adult parent. If relationships are not serving your best and highest good and promoting your growth and mental health, it is not something that you have to stay in from a personal level. Sometimes work-wise, it's just going to be what it is. You got to stop thinking, oh, well, I'm going to feel guilty and I'm obligated. You're not obligated to anybody but yourself and your mental space. Sure, be there. Verbalize some of the things that you need. If it is falling upon deaf ears, stop falling in love with the idea how it is supposed to be. You're allowed to be your first priority, always.
I say this with full love for men, but the reality is that men are draining by default. That the default assumption that you need to make for a man in your life is that he is not the source. In fact, he is draining. He is draining by default. He is going to drain your time, your energy, your compassion, and your love. He is going to drain your beauty and your youth and all the resources that you have. Men are draining by default. Even the best men I know are tremendous amounts of labor and tremendous amounts of risk. That just having a man in your life is going to bring you more labor. It's going to be your domestic labor, your emotional labor, your spiritual labor. Because as women, we are the source, which means that we are giving by default. Women bring value to men by default, by all that we pour into them naturally, that we give to their well-being, to the beauty, to the joy, to their every single aspect of their experience in life. A woman by default, just your average run-of-the-mill woman, not even trying that hard, maybe not even that invested. By default, the default setting of woman is to bring value. Just you hugging a man, just you paying attention and listening to a man, just you caring for a man, let alone all the things that I'm sure you probably are so thoughtful and so considerate and so generous and so giving and spend so much time coaching him and counseling him and loving him and lifting him up. All these things by default without even trying, we do. Not to mention, you're going to be making his health better, his house better. You're going to be introducing him to your friends. You're going to be giving him fun, amazing things to be doing on the holidays. You might be giving him children so he's not alone in his old age. You're going to be amplifying his status in the eyes of his coworkers, his colleagues, other women. He is touch-starved. He is lonely. No one is paying attention to him except you. Because you are doing these things, he has that in his life, and that is so valuable, and men are draining by default. They are going to take your time, your energy, your love. And the way that they counterbalance this is if a man starts pouring back into you by appreciating you as the source. That is how this is balanced, is a man who recognizes that you are the source and pours into you, sees you, loves you, uplifts you, appreciates you. And that is the only way that this value exchange is made right and true and honest, is by him recognizing you as the source, appreciating you for everything that you're doing, and honoring that sacred exchange. And when you are assessing a man in your life, do not close your eyes to this value exchange and really assess reality.
This message is for all women. Dear women, any relationship you beg and you suffer to maintain, you will suffer and beg your whole life. Never beg a man to choose you. Never beg a man to marry you. Never bend over and go overboard to do anything to get a man to be in a relationship with you or to marry you. Because anytime as a woman, you beg, you plead, and you bend yourself to be able to maintain and keep a relationship with a man, you will do it for the rest of your life. Any relationship you beg, you suffer to get, you will keep begging and you will keep suffering for the rest of your life. Men are not internally motivated. A man who does not love you, no matter what you do, you can give him a kidney, you can give him your lung, you can donate your heart to him, and guess what? He might be grateful, but if he does not love you, nothing you do will make him love you. So dear women, when a man proves to you that he does not love you, let it go. But if you choose to beg, to plead, to sacrifice, and to bend over, to inconvenience yourself just for that man to be with you or to marry you, you will suffer for the rest of your life. Any relationship and any marriage, you beg, you plead, you suffer, and you sacrifice to get, you will keep doing that for the rest of your life. Always go with the man who genuinely loves you and cares for you. You would have it a bit easier than the relationships that you beg for, you plead for, and you sacrifice yourself to be able to maintain. A word to the wise is enough. My name is Dr. Zita. I am a sociologist. If you're not following, guess what? Hit the follow button.
Andrea Dworkin once said that it is an agony for women to be fully conscious of the brutal misogyny that permeates every part of culture and personal relationships. And honestly, for me, the day that I realized I was a feminist and I just saw the patriarchy for what it was, I have never been able to unsee that, and it affects every single thing I do. Once you form this awareness as a woman of the way that men hate women, it is so difficult to exist in a way that isn't in rebellion of that, to exist in a way that isn't making a point all the time. And she was so right in saying that women are socialized to not realize these things, because the minute you realize it, it's damaging, it's debilitating, it's so all-consuming and so depressing and sad, and it just sucks when you realize how historically women have been oppressed and disrespected and abused and hurt and used, and they continue to be. Then obviously you as a woman want to live your life and enjoy your life, so you have to figure out where you stand on these things, and also just has to go in the world and interact with men. I have to find a way to like reconcile these feelings and exist. But it's so hard when you have this realization about the world. She says something else where she says that women under patriarchy are a victim, and all daughters, past, present and future, are a victim. We have such a huge responsibility as women, and men have the same responsibility, but God knows that they don't want to do anything about it. But we as women have a massive responsibility to create a world that is a little bit better every time, because we're bringing daughters into the world, and I can't wait to have a little girl. But it's something I think about so often. I'm so scared to bring in a daughter and watch her realize the things that I had to realize about the world. Just cuts you so deep. I could actually start crying if I think about it. It's really awful. We're in a time where femicide is on the rise, and the deaths of women and murder of women is a literal national crisis. And I don't know, I just think about it a lot. I literally, every single day and everything that I do, I feel it. When I go to bed at night, I feel it. I feel the weight of all the women who came before me and the women who come after me, and it kills me.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thought on all the conversation we've had here on this video. Go down in the comment section and share your thought. But please, as always, keep it respectful. You're on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free and share your thought. So this is all talking about how draining men can be in our lives, and the truth is that it's by default. And if you really go into it and you really look into it, and this is why we're telling women to be very intentional with their life. A lot of people ask me, Destiny, how do you look good? How do you look glowy? Destiny, some of you even said I'm pregnant, like I'm still together, but I'm not. Is the fact that I have centered myself, and I have come to realize that men, you see that gender, they will drain you, especially as a father, as a brother, as a husband, as a boyfriend. They are just draining. And I agree with the creator talking about how as women, naturally we are givers. We just, by default, we're just givers. The way we're raised is to give, is to keep pouring into these men. Even if they don't pour into us, we are able to live and survive with the idea of them one day turning around and pouring into us. Which, if we look at our mothers, we look at our aunties, we look at our grandmothers, that's never happened. A lot of these women go on with this long suffering and hopes and prayers, and hoping that these men one day will love them and see them for who they truly are and treat them right. But that will not work. And this is why here on this channel, we're telling women, we're encouraging girls, we're encouraging young women, we're encouraging every woman on this earth, every woman that can see videos like this, that, you know what, pick yourself, choose yourself, because as much as you're going with the idea and what it can be, what it will be, if that's not what it is now, if that's not what you want now, be honest with yourself. Ask yourself those honest questions, like, what do you really want from life? How do you really want a relationship? Is this the type of relationship you want to be in? Not managing the relationship. See, it's so beneficial to be by yourself rather than to be in a relationship for the sake of being in a relationship, or being in a relationship for the potential the relationship can be in the future. If that relationship, whatever, like Greta said, whatever relationship you're in, and that's how I live my life now, be it for my family, my friends, even for my marriage, if the relationship is not serving me, if it's not making me be a better person, if that relationship is draining me, if that relationship is affecting my mental health, if that relationship is making me walk on eggshell, make me question myself, make me question what we have, or is this relationship solid or not, where are we, whatever, where I just let you go. I'm in that place where I'm not even going, like, I'm not going to, what if you make me feel uncertain about you, I don't feel comfortable, I don't feel 100% in that relationship, I will walk away. It's not that deep. Like, I will certainly walk away. And I know this is something that's going to take time for you to get to that place where you can just pick, like, tell yourself, like, this is not working. Be able to identify relationship and even when I'm mean relationship, what I do, even when it comes to men, in terms of relationship, being husbands and boyfriend and all that, if the person is not bringing the best part of you, if you're not genuinely happy, if you have to manage the situation, if you have to always see, there's nothing wrong with communicating your emotions, your feelings, expressing yourself to the other person, no, because the other person is not a witch. The other person cannot read your mind. The person cannot detect what your feelings are and how you feel. I'm a big advocate of have that conversation. But when you see that you're having the conversation over and over again and it's falling into deaf ears, you're questioning the relationship, you're questioning yourself, it's affecting your sanity, just let it go. Because we've established a lot of these men are draining, and until you start centering yourself, which for me personally, I would say it like, at that point in time, my marriage was very draining to me. If you go look my old videos, you could even see it in my face and the way I look. At that time, it was very draining to me because it was all about my marriage, my marriage. I have to keep it together. I need to have children. A lot of pressure that was not for me. And by the time I was able to identify with what I really want and who I really am and be authentic to myself and ask myself those honest questions, and decided to live in my truth and in my way, and even do therapy to know myself, to know who I am, what I am, what are the things that trigger me, what are the downside, what are the things that gets me thick, what are the things that gets me excited, what do I really, really want out of life. It was just like something changed, because at that point, that was when I started the journey of centering myself, putting myself first. And I'm not telling you guys to do what I'm not doing. That's just it. Because that's the journey I'm on. I'm on the journey where I center myself, where I put myself first, where I'm the most important person in my life, where I will look after myself. And I know some of you guys here already have kids with these men, or have one kid, or then, but it's never too late for you to start choosing yourself, picking yourself, and asking yourself those tough questions. Sometimes we want to be delulu and just like, oh, it's going to be well. There are good times. There are good times. Treat me well. Some of these men are very manipulative. They will treat you like shit most of the time and add some sprinkle of good times to it, just to keep you in that loop over and over again. So this is where you put yourself and ask yourself those honest questions. Look yourself in the mirror and talk to yourself. If it's not serving your higher self, if it's not serving your higher purpose, if it's not making you genuinely happy from within, let it go. Let it go, ladies. It's not like, honestly, and see, it's hard. I know I've come here and I've told you guys how I've always been and when I start centering myself, it was really a struggle for me because I've never been alone. I've never done things alone. I like everything is, babe, we need to do this, we need to do this. But when I start centering myself, it was a whole different game, because I start taking those baby steps of being by myself, doing things by myself. And the truth is that I love it. I love it. And I'm telling you guys the truth. That's the secret of this smile, of this glow, of this genuine happiness that you guys can see in my face, my eyes. That is the secret, because I center myself. I make myself my priority. Nobody else is my priority in this life. Me. I'm doing everything. Even if I choose to have kids today, I'm doing it for me. I'm being selfish like that. And there's nothing wrong with being selfish, because society has classified and has put selfish in a different pedestal, where they've made women to feel guilty for being selfish, but they don't make men feel guilty for being selfish. They call me selfish. I'm the queen of selfish. I love it. I love being selfish. I love putting myself first. I love taking care of me. So what? Anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section. I really want to know your own take down in the comment section. Share your story down in the comment section. But please, as always, keep it respectful. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see. And that will be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.